Dear stranger, there are two objectives to this video. The first is to share some thoughts on going beyond binary thinking, which is especially important in adapting to this dynamic and diversifying world. You may or may not find this useful. And secondly, although I enjoy sharing ideas, I tend to overthink things. And the question I desperately wanted to understand through making this video is if I can express myself authentically here. One of the pitfalls I sometimes go into myself within the internet is the notion of binary thinking or false dichotomy, that there are only two possibilities, right and wrong, good and bad. And as we probably knew and expected, this often creates putrid cesspool that is the internet argument. So, we shall now discuss various alternatives to this concept. Here, we will consider three ideas to go beyond binary thinking. The well-known ideas of 1. Spectrum thinking, 2. Multidimensional thinking, and more holistically, 3. The humane truth, that is understanding that we are talking to a fellow human being that is complex and multifaceted. Let's start with the simplest one, spectrum thinking. Suppose there's a person who tries to label and box you into either the political left or the right. What is the problem here? Clearly, many things in life have nuances, which is especially important in, say, political debates. Let me say two related points. Firstly, the boundary between the two extremes are often ambiguous. Often the threshold we create, such as age and IQ, is often arbitrary. For example, just because I became 18 today, does that really make me a mature adult? Perhaps legally, but probably not emotionally and intellectually. Secondly, despite the continuum and multitude of thoughts we consider, we often decide on a binary outcome. Suppose that we are making an important life decision. Of course, you will consider many factors and possibilities. Yet, from the outside perspective, they can only know the decision you made, the result that is public. To summarize, we should make explicit any nuances and complexities which might enrich our discussion. Here's the second one, multidimensional thinking. Consider the autism spectrum, and your classmate classifies you as being a little bit autistic because, quote, you behave like them. What is the problem here? Instead, the so-called autism spectrum consists of various traits. For example, one autistic person may find normal conversation fine, but get sensory overload in crowded spaces, while another might find conversation generally difficult, but enjoys loud crowds. This shows that we are diverse and multidimensional creatures. Now, one of the nice implications of this multidimensionality is that seemingly contradictory concepts can be both attained. A school lesson can be both fun and educational, and we can have mixed, bittersweet feeling of happiness and sadness simultaneously. Finally, let's talk about the humane truth. We are especially prone, under stress and confrontation, to only consider what we want to say to them. But, as we discussed so far, the person who you are talking to right now is multifaceted, even though we can only see its surface appearance. So, we should pay attention to what they are saying to us. Let's listen to them with respect and empathy. And even within the web of anger and confusion, there may lie some nugget of profound truth in their word. It is also important to understand the intention and goal. So look at the actions and evidences instead of just their speech. Half-truths are common and more deceptive compared to complete falsehoods. And even perhaps pay attention to the environment that surrounds the two interlocutors. For not only the individual drives behavior, but the environment as well. The medium is indeed part of the message. So, as Hegel said, genuine tragedies in the world are not conflicts between right and wrong, but conflicts between two rights. So, let's at least win over their heart instead of the argument. So, returning to our original question, can we truly express ourselves authentically within this platform? Perhaps this question is my form of intimacy, vulnerability towards you, dear viewer. This urge to share something, I'm sure we've experienced it. I share because I am? No, we share because we are, and we are who we are because we share. Who we are has expanded through the internet. The internet both reflects and amplifies self and societal expression. And frankly, the question of authenticity hides other important and incomparable aspects of our modern internet life. That is, daring to present our profile. Although everything I am doing right here is arguably non-authentic, it is not inauthentic. These words are chosen with intent and design, precisely to be presented with passion. To quote the philosopher Hans Moeller, we need a conceptual framework that goes beyond authenticity, inauthenticity binary. We need a vocabulary of profilicity. So, seriously man, thank you for listening until now. Even though I shall never comprehend your true self, and neither can you, dear stranger, I will continue respecting you who are not visible to me, for we are actually more than what we are, what we present, and everything beyond that can be said.